I'm SoCal Honey Badger, and that was my intro. Alright guys, today, hold on, let me turn off this music. It's in my ears. I don't like that, right? Today we're gonna cover a kind of a topic. So somebody in the comment section of the last video, I said, hey man, what do you want me to cover? And they said, we want you to cover Wake Up, which by the way, make sure if there's a topic you want me to cover, mention that in the comment section below or to the side, wherever the comment section is. I don't know. I don't go through and watch my own videos. I just post them and then I'm done, right? But anyways, somebody in the comments wanted me to cover wake ups and make a guide on wake ups. Here's the problem with that. I said I'd do it, but I really can't. Wake ups are a very complicated thing in fighting games. There's no way you can cover the concept and philosophy and strategy around wake ups within the span of like a 10 to 20 minute video that you post to YouTube. There are many factors that go into wake up that I may have to make like a wake up series. So I'm going to cover topic by topic what to do with wake ups, how to deal with wake ups. I will like to note first of all that honestly wake ups in this game are kind of broken and ruined, and they've kind of always been so in NetherRealm games. What would be a traditional wake up situation in every other fighting game is actually the standing reset. So when you as a fighting game player think of wake ups and hard knockdowns and OTGs and things like that, you actually go for those situations with the standing reset in NetherRealm games. Getting an actual knockdown doesn't really give you the payoff that it does in every other fighting game, and that's kind of been the way it's been since MK9. They have slowly but surely made things even more worse on Wake Up since then. So this game is worse than X, which is worse than 9 as far as Wake Up goes. But they always have, you know, characters and variations or whatever that can go for a standing reset. And the standing reset is where you're going to get your true Oki. First of all, let me explain what Oki is, and let me explain what you should be doing, and then I'm going to explain the actual concept I want to actually explain. What is Wake Up? Wake Up is when you get knocked down, and your character is getting up. We call it in the West Wake Up. In Japan, it is Okizeme. Okizeme is the Japanese term for get up. So oftentimes when you hear fighting game players talking with our jargon, a lot of times because these games this genre kind of spread out from Street Fighter, and Street Fighter is Japanese, and the community back in the day communicated a lot between the US and Japan as far as sharing tech in the early days of the internet. We kind of adopted Japanese words, and the Japanese kind of adopted English words, so that way it would be easier for us to communicate and share tech. And one of those words was Okizeme, and shortened to Oki. So when you hear fighting game players talking about Oki, they're like, this is an Oki setup, this is an Oki thing, this is Okizeme, you'll sit there and you'll do this, and you'll get Oki there, and your combo with this for Oki. That's what they're talking about. It gives you a knockdown. There are different kinds of knockdowns. There's hard knockdowns, there's soft knockdowns, there's techable knockdowns. In MK, as it relates to MK, there's really only one knockdown. There are different animations for it, but you don't have options taken away. So in other fighting games, the differences between a hard knockdown and a soft knockdown is that a hard knockdown takes away certain wake-up options. A soft knockdown gives you all of your wake-up options. In this game, the only difference between different knockdowns is the animation, right? So if I do this, right, he just falls down and then gets up. If I do this, he kind of slides on the ground and then gets up. But it doesn't really change any of his options. All it does is it changes how much frame advantage I have. And the reason why Wake Up is kind of busted in NetherRealm games is because you always have tons of options. You look at other fighting games like Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball, Tekken, even to some extent Street Fighter. There are different kinds of knockdowns, like Dragon Ball gives you sliding knockdown, hard knockdown, soft knockdown. There's a lot of different knockdowns, and what you do with those different knockdowns would be, dependent on which one you got, who you're fighting, and what options you have with your character. So in NetherRealm games, there's only one kind of knockdown, which is a knockdown, and your opponent has like a million different options, right? They have get up 3, they have get up 2, they have roll forward, they have roll back, they have block, they have neutral jump, they have neutral duck, they have wake up buttons, they have delayed buttons, short buttons, long buttons. There's like so many things that they can do from wake up that 99.9% of the time you're better off just resetting back to neutral, right? So you get your knockdown, don't go for anything, reset to neutral, bait out whatever they're going to do, and then choose the appropriate punish. It's unfortunate because wake up is a very integral part of fighting games, and it's an interesting part of a match, and that's just kind of gone. And the reason for that is at high level play, your goal in high level play, and this is what separates high level players from low level players, right? It's not combos or setups or frame traps or any of that. A high level player mitigates risk. A low level player just mashes and unga bungas and does stupid shit, right? That's the difference. And with the wake up system, everything I do on wake up carries risk other than resetting back to neutral. So 9 times out of 10, if I get a knockdown, I'm better off just waiting for them to get up and reset to neutral. That way I take no risk, and if I'm a better player than them, I can reopen them up and land another hit in the neutral, right? So if I'm better than you and I'm out neutraling you and I have better fundamentals, it is in my best interests to not do anything on your wake up, let you get up and whiff whatever the fuck it is, right? So I get my knockdown, let you whiff your thing, and then blow it up. That's generally what you want to do in MK and in NetherRealm games in general. Because there's just too many wake-up options. There's too many options. Unless you make a hard read, unless you're fighting someone that's always up 3ing on wake-up, then generally you just want to go back to neutral. But that's not very fun, right? So what we're going to talk about today is a concept that I've already explained before on stream, but I didn't make a video about it, and that is meaties. Meaties are a very, very old concept. They come from Street Fighter 2. And they are one of the ways of pressing your advantage on wake up in a fighting game. Now, what is a meaty and how do you do it? Let's get into the business, right? So a meaty is when you place an attack during your opponent's wake up at the last possible frame to hit them when the invincibility of wake up wears off, so that they have no other option on wake up other than to block. Sounds kind of complicated, right? The idea is you alternate between meaties and grabs to catch throw techs and to catch wake up buttons, because generally speaking, those would be your only options on wake up unless you're fighting someone with an invincible reversal, or in this game, you're fighting period, right? How do you do a meaty? It's a timing issue. So if you look, when I knock Sub-Zero down, there's an animation of him being on the ground and then getting up off the ground. During those two animations of him laying down and him getting up, right, he is invincible. That was put into games so that way you can't just knock someone down infinitely, right? I know if you guys played like old Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 where you could just sweep. This is one of the reasons, why they did that, is so you can't just knock someone down forever and then the game becomes a game of who got the first knockdown. So you're invincible until you get all the way back up. Then when you get all the way back up, you have control of your character, and the idea is to time a meaty so that way your move comes out while they're invincible, and the last active frame will hit on the first active frame that they can be hit, right? Let me demonstrate. So I get the knockdown. You see how my move, right? My move whiffed during their get up because they're invincible, and then they can get up buttons, right? However, if I time it with something slower, it's going to hit through their invincible frames, but my active frames, because the move is slow, is still active when they are in a hittable state. I set him to push buttons immediately on the first active frame on wake up. That's what I programmed the AI to do. So that's how I can get this crushing blow, right? So I can sit there and throw out a slower move to catch them doing wake up buttons. And that's what a meaty is going for a very, very slow move or timing a fast move slowly, right? So you can get the same meaty setup that traded, but if you delay, like if you have a faster move like my forward one, if you delay it just a little tiny bit, you can catch them. You don't want to do it too early, because if I do it too early, my move whiffs and then their move hits me. They can wake up buttons, right? So you do it a little bit late and you can catch them. And you see how it says counter hit, right? It says counter hit because he was able to push a button, but I caught him on the last active frame, so his button doesn't actually come out, but the game registers that he pushed a button, so I get the counter hit properties. This is very important in other games, and this is very important if your character has a crushing blow requirement that requires a counter hit. You can kind of go for a meaty setup there. What you use meaties to do is to force a block on wake up, because generally you get somebody, when you're playing a more beginner oriented player, right, you get a knockdown and they're instantly going to start mashing. As soon as I can push buttons, I'm going to push buttons, right? And so a meaty is taking knowledge of when those buttons will actually come out and then making sure those buttons don't actually come out. A meaty setup is like kind of a more complicated version of a frame trap, right? Because I do my move, and they're knocked down, but I'm not. So if you consider the knockdown as part of their recovery animation from hit stun, it's really just extended hit stun, or it's an extended frame trap. It's a frame trap with a lot of frames, right? So you're frame trapping them with your move when the hit stun animation of them getting up ends. It's just the only difference is that they're getting up off the ground. So there's a lot more animation involved there with meaty setups. But again, meaty setups specifically blow up wake up buttons, but in a game with universal invincible reversals, it's not a good idea to do wake up, to do meaty buttons for the most part, right? If I do this, you can get hit with, well, that was the wrong one. What is it, chilled heal? Yeah, right? If I knock him down and I go for my meaty setup, he has an invincible reversal. Those are universal across the whole cast. So it's not really a good idea to go for meaties unless you make a hard read that someone is just going to be mashing wake up buttons. Generally speaking, like I said, if you get a knockdown, reset to neutral, blow them up. That's what you want to do in wake up. But I will go through and start covering other things and kind of give you guys a fuller picture of wake ups, because there is value in understanding wake up if you want to participate in other fighting games. And so that's how meaties work. Don't go for meaties too often in NetherRealm games. You're going to end up getting blown up. Just reset back to neutral. Minimize the risk that you're going to have to undertake and go from there. As always, we stream on Twitch live for the most part Wednesday through Sunday from 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I stream for night hours. So if you have any questions and you want to ask me in person, you can catch me on Twitch. Otherwise, if you leave a comment down below, I do read them, even though you guys just call me stupid and say I suck. And if you have any other things that you would like for me to cover, you can mention those in the comments down below. If you don't like and subscribe, which most of you don't, I look at my videos, I get like 100 views and I don't have 100 subscribers, so Obviously, you guys don't like and subscribe, but if you do, it encourages me to do more of this shit because I have tons of success on Twitch. I don't have to do YouTube, right? But I will do YouTube for you, those of you that need it. Anyways, I'm out of here.
Hey, so if you follow YouTube enough, you know that they like to put weird stuff all over the screen for the last 30 seconds. So this is gonna fill that space. Yeah. It's probably right there and there, all over the place right now. Yeah, go ahead and click that stuff if you want. And that's 30 seconds.